everyone. In this video, we will explain how does the global supply chain management manage in the risk and disruption of the pandemic COVID-19 outbreak. Before we continue, let me introduce my team. There are Desak Putu Sinta Adnyani, Luh Ari Astini, Kadek Dwika Putri Andari, Wayan Ristya Dewantati, and last is Luh Murdaniati.
Cases of COVID-19 have been reported in a growing number of countries, including the United States. World Health Organization declared a global pandemic in March 2020. WHO has on record 209,839 confirmed cases, 8,778 deaths in 168 countries. The limitation of the global logistics service, the temporal shutdown of production in various factories of the health of the measures taken by the authorities belong to these actions. This measuring caused massive difficulties in numerous supply chain processes, in some cases even making them impossible to operate. Because of this, the logistic costs were increased. The transport options like sea, train, and air freight were reduced by quite a large margin, and as a result, material shortage, demand reductions, and several other unforeseeable consequences were generated on numerous points of the supply chains.
Countries have been responding to the COVID-19 by shutting down their school, small or local businesses, place of worship, birth to human and good from certain part of the world like China, where the COVID-19 first originated from. China being one of the forces to reckon with in the global economy through their reborn import and export system. Their factories for top-tier chains, textile companies, automobile brands like Apple, Microsoft, Nissan, and JCB have felt the disruption caused by the COVID-19 as their factories in China closed or operated at limited capacity in a bid to curb the spread of the COVID-19. According to a report from Dun & Bradstreet, 938 of the Fortune 100 companies have a Tier 1 or Tier 2 supplier that has been affected by the virus. Trade shifts show Chinese trade activity dropped 15.6% in just a single week in February.
Supply chain disruption are one of the major impacts of the coronavirus outbreak. Quarantine workers and the shortage of components are affecting manufacturers across the globe. This situation might worsen after the first quarter of this year. Companies having global supply chain could expect a delay in the supply of raw material and product. Also, shipping and delivery could become a major concern for some industries. Businesses department on global searching are facing hard choices in crisis management amid the supply chain disruption. They are struggling to adjust their fiscal expectation for the year 2020 as the self-isolation of a good amount the population, which also happen to be their employees and end-user sales and production has been down, which translates to companies procuring less raw material needed for production. The restriction of raw material and finished product going into countries also throw a wrench in the global supply chains as they cannot be easily supplied with the current state of things leaving companies whose source of their raw materials.
China, which is the second largest economy in the world, has all but halted its production of consumer goods such as phones, clothing, and automobiles for the past several weeks. The country has taken on unprecedented wartime measures to control the virus's spread, such as placing severe restrictions on some 780 million people and instituting mass quarantines in major cities. The Wall Street Journal reports that the lockdown on Chinese manufacturing has caused global markets to shudder and is casting an ever-widening shadow on the economy at large. That's particularly relevant in the tech industry, which depend on Chinese labor to build everything from computer chips to cell phone parts. In recent days, China has started reopening its factories despite public health concerns in an effort to restart its economy. But manufacturing sites are running at a far lower capacity than usual.
Minimizing the impact of coronavirus on the global supply chains and procurement. Number 1. Advanced manufacturing units. Advanced manufacturing and technologies such as 3D printing and artificial intelligence will not just shorten supply chains but also reduce the impact of unprecedented risk. Rather than building massive factories and making one city a manufacturing hub, companies need to create smaller manufacturing hubs in different cities. Number 2. Localized supply chain. Creating a small and agile supply chain is the need of the hour for companies. In this cutthroat competition, companies cannot simply afford to have a 30 days shipping time from China to the United States. They require supply chains that are agile to address different risks and innovation. Having advanced manufacturing engineering offshore really makes it difficult for companies to be innovative onshore. And the last, number 3, in-house logistics. Strengthening the in-house logistics network is extremely crucial for companies to manage the crisis response. Deploying human and autonomous capacity can help companies to obtain the delivery of crucial supplies and resume their operation. Waiving fees for some suppliers could also help companies minimize the impact of such risk.